Hello, everyone. I decided to go live. I decided to give it a try and see what happens. I might sit here by myself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what buttons to push. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't have a clue. But I'm going to tell you a story about Boo. Boo is my blind cat, and I found him um, probably about 3 years ago because in my past life, I'd always volunteered at animal shelters. So I found an animal shelter, a no kill animal shelter around here. So my first day there for training, I found this blind cat and they had him out on main display on the main floor. And I was like, why did you put this cat out here on the main floor in this cage? Well, we've had him a long time. He's 3 years old and he needs a home really bad. And I'm like, okay, but he's pretty helpless. That's what I'm thinking. And um, so started telling me a story. And she said, well, about a year ago, someone adopted him and they had him about 9 months and brought him back because they couldn't handle him. He was too mean. He was too mean. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, was he born blind? I mean, has he always been this way? She says, no, he had a bad infection when he was a kitten. And the infection got so bad that he is now blind. And I went, oh, okay. But she goes, but he's fine now. It's just that he really needs a home. And the more I looked at him, and the more that I was thinking that someone took him home and then decided they didn't want him after adopting him, I was like, no one wants you. You've been here 3 years. No one wants you. And in my heart, I'm like, no one wants me. So we were meant to be together. We were meant to be together. Something in the cosmos has brought us together so we can be broken together. So I adopted him. He is fixed and chipped and all that stuff, you know how they do. And I brought him home, and they told me straight up, he will never be any good. He will never leave his cage. He can't see. He won't be able to function. He won't be able to live a normal life. And I went, okay, so be it. Then that's what we'll do. I mean, that's fine. If that's who he is, that's who he is. Like I said, we're both broken. We'll make exceptions for each other. We'll make it work. So I brought him home in the cage, and I just opened up the front of the cage, and I put out a litter box, and you know, and he was in the cage for about almost 24 hours. He didn't come out of the cage, and finally he started sneaking out, just kind of slowly smelling and creeping. It wasn't sneaking, creeping out. And he started creeping out and creeping out and creeping out. Next thing I know, he's out of the cage. And I'm going, oh, you seem to be fine. So I picked him up gently and I showed him where the litter box was, just in case. And of course, that's where he headed. He did his thing. And after that, he started just slowly, very gently roaming around the house. And I thought, okay, let him do his thing. Let him find the smells. It's all new smells. It's all new life. Let him figure it out in his own time. So it was probably a week of him just kind of creeping around the house and just creeping around. It didn't bother me, you know. Let him learn at his own pace, you know. So far, he's done more than what they said. He's out of his cage. So already he's achieved more than what they told me. I shouldn't say promise, but what they told me. So he started roaming around. And then I started to pet him. And because I didn't want to rush into anything, so I started to pet him. And he was so scared of fingers. Fingers. As long as you pet it with like your knuckle or something like that where there was no fingers involved, he was fine. Oh, he loved it. He loved attention. But fingers. And I'm thinking, well, of course, you're blind and you're sitting in a cage in the main room where all these people are poking their fingers in these cage holes. And that's why the life you've lived for the last 3 years. Of course, you're going to be scared of fingers, you know? So I learned to pet him with my knuckle or my arm or something besides my fingers. I just kept my fingers out of his way because if you got a fingernail, he bite you. He bite you instantly. I mean, well, hello. It makes sense to me. So he finally got to a point where he would let me pet him and he wasn't scared of my hands. He wasn't scared of my fingers, but it took 6 months. It took a long time for him to be comfortable enough with me. Other people now he would still bite. You know, if the smell was wrong, he would bite the finger. He didn't, he just had a thing about fingers. But it was about 2 months in, we're going to backtrack a little bit, about 2 months in, and it was spring. So I took him outside to the backyard. And I thought, okay, feel the sun. You've probably never felt the sun before. Feel the sun, smell the new smells, enjoy it. You know, I'll sit with you. You can feel it, you can enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. And it was about 2 months in because he was really good about picking up. I mean, hands didn't bother him, it was the fingers things. So he started roaming around. You know how it creeps and smelling and creeps and smelling and creeps and smelling, banging into things gently because he didn't move very fast, but he'd smell it and he'd walk around it and, you know, figure it out his way. And it was, like I said, it was about 2 months. I took him outside. And then within the third month, he gave up his litter box. He was not going to use his litter box at all, which is wonderful. I don't understand litter boxes. Don't understand them. But I thought I would make an exception for this cat because we needed each other and we'll take special care of each other. But my philosophy is if you can't do it in my toilet, you don't do it in my house. That's always been my philosophy. I've had cats all my life. I've never had a litter box. But so in the 3 months, he gave up his litter box. He just gave it up. He would not go into it. He would not go near it. He wanted to go outside. He wanted to go outside. So now I'm going outside with him so he can do his business. And then we come back inside. Next thing I know, he's wanting to go out all the time. He wants to be out all the time. He doesn't want to be in the house. He wants to go out. He wants to search. He wants to, and I'm like, Boo, you can't, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt out there. But he got to a point where I would leave a crack of a window open there's a spot in my house where I leave the crack of the window open, and he busted through that screen to get out so he could get out. He was not going to stay in the house. So I fixed the screen and I fixed it so it, you know, put it all back together again and got it all straightened up again. And within 2 days, he's busted that hole out again. I don't know how he figured out how to bust out a screen because he can't see anyway, but he figured it out. So I fixed it again, twice now. So About 2 days later, he's busted it out again. The third time, he's busted out this corner of this screen, this corner. And I'm like, you've made your own door of letting yourself in and out through my screen. Excuse me. And I went, well, I can't stop you. You're just going to keep busting it out. You're just going to keep busting it out. And if I try to keep you in the house, he sprays everywhere. He's a male. He sprays everywhere. He gets mad. That's what cats do. So I fixed it so he can only bust out just so much of it. Because it was getting to a point where every time he'd go out, the hole would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I thought, my screen's going to fall off and I'm going to have this big old mess. And so I fixed it so it just opens just a little bit. So he made his own door. Have to make a kitty door. He made his own door through a screen. So he climbs up and out through that screen. Don't ask me. He's found his own way. It's just his own way. Well, one time he disappeared, and he does. Oh, I have to tell you about him he can hear the birds, but he can't see them. So he tries to pounce on them, and it's so cute. Anyway, so one time he disappeared, and he disappeared for about 2-3 days. And I was really upset, really upset. I thought, oh my God. And I'm driving the streets and I'm driving the roads around here thinking, oh my gosh, he's laying in the middle of the road. Somebody's hit him because he didn't know to not be in the street, or somebody has shot him because he was in their yard and he didn't know any better. Or so I put out flyers. I put out flyers all around the neighborhood and call me, please, blah, blah, blah. He looks like this. Da, 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 da. I get a phone call from a gentleman, and he says, I think I have your cat. He's acting really strange. And I said, okay. He says, I think he's blind. And I said, then that's mine. That's my kitty. He says, my dogs found him and got a hold of him. Thank goodness my wife heard the ruckus and ran out there and found him and brought him in. He says he's been here for about 2 days. And I went running over there, and he was about 40 houses down. But they had big dogs. Big dogs. But so I took him to the animal hospital. I thought, okay, it's been 2 days now. There might be infection. Oh, who knows? Who knows? All I know is the people that had him looked like they took very good care of their animals. So I wasn't worried about rabies or any of that kind of stuff. But with internal injuries, we don't know. We don't know. So I took him to the animal hospital, and they said he's very lucky. He got teeth holes in him, pokes. He said, but internal injuries is fine. He may be sore for a while. Looks like they picked him up and shook him, but he should be fine. There's no internal. Everything is fine. Didn't even need a stitch. Not even a stitch. He was so lucky. So I brought him home, and I thought, okay, now you've learned. You're not going to go outside. You're going to stay in the house. Well, it wasn't 2 weeks later. Well, he would go outside and would come back in. But it was 2 weeks later. He was fighting me to go outside. He wanted to go outside, and he wanted to stay outside. And I'm like, you didn't learn your lesson from these big dogs? And I guess he didn't. He's learned to be more cautious, and he doesn't go that way anymore. But because of the flyers I've put out, it's really cute too. The flyers I put out around in the neighborhood, people will call me all the time or text me and say, Boo is over here. If, he's getting really close to the street. I don't know if you want to come get him or what I should be doing. So the neighborhood now is watching out for this blind cat. I think that's so cute. Anyway, uh, I happen to be around a wonderful, wonderful neighbors. So anyway, so Anyway, so the other day, before it started getting fall, as you can see, it's starting to get chilly in here. I'm not sure how much longer I can be doing things in the sunroom. The sunroom is getting quite chilly. So, uh, so it was still sunny, and I was watching him crouch, and I'm like, what in the world is he doing out there? He's out in the backyard and he's crouching. And next thing I know, he's hearing birds. His face is facing towards the sound of the birds. And I thought, I don't know how you're going to catch those birds. You can't see them. I know you can hear them. I know you can smell them. But if you catch one, I'm going to be very impressed. So that's his next thing is he's trying to catch birds that happen to be on the ground. Oh, he's so silly. He's so silly. He makes me smile every day. I just wanted to share that story with you. How Boo and I became our own little family. Um, they told me he wouldn't be anything. He wouldn't be able to give anything or be anything. He would never leave his cage. Now he has attitude. He tells me, well, I understand when he tells me. He tells me when he's mad at me. He tells me when he wants to go out. I'll even have the window open so he can go out the window. Nope. He wants me to get up and take him and open the door for him so he can go out the door. He's a cat. He's a total cat. I forget about the blindness. He's a total cat. He's got attitude. He's got moxie. He's he's the total package, just without the sight. And I'm so proud of how far he's gotten and how that one thing has not stopped him. That also gives me courage to just keep moving on. I mean, it's it's very charming. It's very charming watching him grow and change. And like I said, it's been 3 years now. So, but every day he's growing and he's changing, So it's beautiful to see. Well, I just want to share that with you. Okay. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't know if it's even going out. I don't know if anybody's even making comments. I can't see nothing. I don't see anything. But I'm here. I figured I'd give it a try because it is the next step. The next level is doing lives and chatting with people. But I can't see a chat. I can't see anything. I don't know nothing. I don't even know if it's even going out. I'm here. I love you all and try to make today better than yesterday. I love you all. And keep your fingers crossed. This is really going out. Mwah, bye.